It won't kill you. It's just information. You're terrified of rejection. So terrified that you'd rather not try at all than risk being told no. You'd rather stay quiet than speak up and be dismissed. You'd rather play small than put yourself out there and be rejected. Sure, because rejection feels personal. It feels like proof that you're not good enough, that something is wrong with you. But rejection has nothing to do with you. Rejection is just information, a door closing so the right door can open. I spent years contorting myself to avoid rejection. I became a people pleaser. I adapted to everybody else's expectations. I abandoned myself daily just to be accepted. Until someone said something that changed absolutely everything for me. If you buy into rejection, you've already lost. So I will try to explain the perspective of what rejection actually is, the exact moment I stopped taking it personally, and the framework I use to process rejection as information instead of identity. The rejection you're trying to avoid by people pleasing, you're already experiencing it, because when you change who you are to be accepted, you are rejecting yourself. Let me put it this way. For years, I felt rejection everywhere. When I started my business, when I traveled, when I created anything that felt authentically mine. Everyone had an opinion. Everyone judged. Everyone had an idea of who I should be. So I adapted. I performed. I became whomever people needed me to be to feel comfortable around me. And it worked. To an extent, on the surface, people accepted the performance, they validated the version of me that fit their expectations, but I was miserable because every day I was choosing other people's acceptance over my own authenticity. And here it is. Rejection does 3 specific things when you buy into it. First, it kills your creativity, which is the most important one, because creativity requires you to be yourself, and you're too busy being whoever others want you to be. Second, it makes you a people pleaser. You start reading everybody's reactions, adapting constantly, performing endlessly. Third, it erodes your self-trust. The more you change yourself to avoid rejection, the less you trust your own judgment about who you are and what you create. So you're rejecting yourself to avoid being rejected. And that's the fun part of it. And that's the cycle that keeps you stuck, sadly enough. The turning point came during a trip to Barcelona. I was at a network dinner surrounded by successful entrepreneurs, and as usual, I was performing, saying what I thought people wanted to hear, presenting the version of myself that seemed most acceptable. Then I met a woman, a serial entrepreneur who'd built and sold 3 companies. She was direct, unapologetic, completely herself. So during a break, she looked at me and said, "You're exhausting yourself trying to be what everybody wants. This is what you need to understand. If you buy into rejection, if you buy into the story people tell you about who you should be, you've already lost." I remember the feeling and feeling very defensive. I'm not buying into anything. I'm just being professional, being considerate. She smiled, this quiet smile. Nope, you're abandoning yourself, and that's the worst rejection there is. That hit me so hard because she was right. I wasn't being professional. I wasn't being considerate. I was being terrified. Terrified that if people saw the real me, the odd, unconventional, sometimes uncomfortable me, they would reject me. But in trying to avoid the rejection, I was rejecting myself every single time. The conversation changed everything because I realized I had a choice. Keep rejecting myself to avoid being rejected by others, or risk being rejected by others so I could finally accept myself. And I chose myself, of course. Once I started being myself fully, unapologetically, I noticed something surprising. Yes, some people reject me, of course, but those rejections didn't destroy me. They clarified things. For example, I lost a potential coaching client because my approach was too direct. She wanted someone gentler, more hand-holding. Old me would have panicked. I need to change my approach. I need to be softer. I need to adapt. New me saw it clearly. She wasn't rejecting me. We just weren't aligned. She needed something I don't and I can't offer. That's information, no judgment. Or another example, I posted a content that was more vulnerable and philosophical than my usual business advice. Some followers unfollowed. One person even commented, "This isn't what I followed you for." Old me would have felt ashamed. I should stick to what people expect. I should be more consistent. I should play it safe. New me understood those people weren't my people. My people are the ones who value the full range of what I bring, not just the safe, conventional parts. This was my teaching. Every rejection I experienced after I started being fully myself was actually a redirection. It wasn't closing opportunities. It was filtering out the wrong opportunities so the right one could find me. The clients who rejected my direct approach, they would have been miserable working with me, and I with them. The followers who left, they were never going to engage deeply with my work anyway. Each rejection was information, not aligned, not the right fit, not my people. After practicing this for years, I developed a simple framework for processing rejection, the rejection filter. When someone rejects you, your work, or your approach, ask, is this rejection about alignment, or is this feedback I need? This is critical. Not all rejections just not aligned. Sometimes people give you feedback that's actually useful. How do you tell the difference? Well, useful feedback is specific and actionable. Your presentation was unclear in the third section is feedback. Rejection masquerading as feedback is vague and personal very often. Your approach just doesn't work for me is alignment, not feedback. If it's useful feedback, take it. It's alignment. Let it go. Question 2. I am changing myself to avoid rejection, and I am adapting to serve better. There is a difference between contorting yourself to be accepted and skillfully adapting to serve your audience. Contorting, hiding your perspective, dumbing down your message, performing who you think you want to be. Adapting, explaining your perspective more clearly, meeting your audience where they are, staying true to your message while making it acceptable. One abandons you, the other honors both you and your audience. Next one, if this rejection is about alignment, what is it redirecting me towards? Every no is a redirecting you somewhere. Instead of wallowing in the rejection, ask, what door is this closing so another one can open? Lost a client? Maybe you're being redirected towards clients that values what you actually do. Got criticized for being too much? Maybe you're being redirected toward people who appreciate intensity. Rejected for not fitting in? Maybe you're being redirected toward building something new instead of fitting into something old. So here's a specific example of this framework in action. Last year, I pitched a workshop concept to a large company. The concept was unconventional, focused on creativity and uncertainty rather than typical leadership training. They rejected me. And it said it was too abstract and they needed something more practical. Question 1, is this feedback I need? No. They weren't saying the concept was poorly designed. They were saying it didn't fit their needs. Question 2, should I change my approach? No. If I made it more practical in the way they wanted, it wouldn't be the work I'd meant to do. Question 3. What is this redirecting me towards? Companies and leaders who value unconventional approaches? Yes. 3 months later, I pitched the exact same concept to a tech startup. They loved it. They said, this is exactly what we need. Everyone else is offering the same generic leadership training. The rejection wasn't about the work being wrong. It was about finding the right audience for the work. You need to understand this. Choosing authenticity over acceptance means some people will reject you. And even when you know it's about alignment, not worth, rejection can still sting. I still feel that momentary drop in my stomach when someone says no, when someone criticizes my work, when someone chooses someone else. The difference is I don't buy into it anymore. I don't make it mean something about my value. I don't change who I am to avoid it next time. I don't abandon myself to be more acceptable. I just process it through the framework. Is this feedback I need or alignment mismatch? Am I being asked to contort or adapt? What is this redirecting me toward? And then I keep going, keep being myself, keep creating my work, keep finding my people. You're not supposed to be for everyone. You're supposed to be fully yourself so the right people can find you. And the only way to find your people is to stop performing for everyone else. So right now, what kind of rejection are you buying into? Where are you changing who you are to be accepted? Where are you abandoning yourself to avoid being rejected? So try this. Just try this week. Next time you experience rejection, and you will, because rejection is part of being human, don't buy into it. Instead, run it through the framework. Is this feedback I need? Or is this about alignment? Am I being asked to contort or adapt? What is this redirecting me toward? Then make a choice, consciously, intentionally. Choose useful feedback. Reject demands to contort. Follow the redirection. I spent years, remember, abandoning myself to avoid rejection. And all it did was guarantee I experienced rejection every single day from myself. Once I stopped buying into rejection, once I saw it as an information instead of identity, I became free. Free to be myself, free to create my work, free to find my people. And yes, some people still reject me. Some people still don't get it. Some people still think I'm too direct, too different, too unconventional. And that's perfect because they're not my people. My people are the ones who value exactly what I bring. And I never would have found them if I was still performing to avoid rejection. So stop buying into rejection. Stop making it mean something about your worth. Start seeing it as information. Alignment, redirection, because it's not your enemy, it's your data helping you find your way home to yourself. If this resonated, subscribe. I'm here every week with honest guidance on owning who you are and creating from your truth. I'll see you in the next one. And if this resonated with you, well, sign up for my free 7A Insight, how to find back to your powerful self.